Yesterday, during the open debate on conflict prevention, our Russian colleague, started his statement by saying states have the main responsibility in conflict prevention. Any international assistance, including the framework of the UN, should be carried out with the consent of the host country and cannot be imposed. Sounds like a statement of this kind has been forgotten as soon as it was said. Within 12 hours, we have seen Russia doing exactly the opposite, blatantly ignoring the consent of a sovereign state, Ukraine. My government condemned the entry of Russian convoy into Ukraine without the consent of the Ukrainian authorities and without any involvement of the International Committee of the Red Cross as a blatant violation of international law. Such unilateral actions by the Russian Federation are counter to the previously reached agreements between the Russian Federation, Ukraine, and the ICRC. Inevitably, such disregard of international humanitarian principles raises serious questions about the true purposes of the convoy and its sender. Particularly because we've seen reports last week that some of the vehicles were empty, some carrying perhaps very small amounts. Explanations given were rather odd to this respect. In this connection, we have also to remember that have been repeated reports of transfer of large quantities of advanced weapons, including tanks, armored vehicles, fenced personnel carriers, and artillery, reaching militant separatists in eastern Ukraine. Such weapons don't fall out of the blue skies, landing straight into the rebels' hands. They come from somewhere. No wonder that while Ukrainian forces keep destroying heavy weaponry owned by the separatists, the rebels seem to be ever better armed and continue to inflict serious damage on Ukrainian forces, including more helicopters shot down in the meantime. Such gunpoint aid, in our view, is a rather cynical way to mark the 150th anniversary of the First Geneva Convention. It is exactly the kind of politicization of humanitarian aid that most countries spoke against as dangerous and unacceptable in this week's briefing on the protection of civilians on World Humanitarian Day. Thank you.